Greetings, y'all. It is Matt from the Green Arcade. I'm back playing some more Farming Simulator 25. So today is the last day for the stream from Iowa Plains View. It's been a journey. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed this map. It's been a great map. Get into it here. Alright, so I've got everything pretty much set up. Get everything rolling here. Gonna be doing the soybeans with the case equipment. Did that go in? Yeah, okay, there we go. Alright, so I'll just hire that out. Then we'll head back over to the New Holland. Let Fuzzy sink in here. Good morning, Twitchy, and good morning, Fuzzy. Yeah, no stream next weekend. The Highlands map is coming out on either Monday or Tuesday. The official day is Tuesday. So we'll find out. I guess we'll see when it actually does drop. And we'll spend some time over there. Alright, hire that out. Alright, Fuzzy, you can choose. You want to do corn or do you want to do soybeans? It's up to you. I need to repaint the tracks again. I hope they come up with a fix for this. I think if I just accept that from there, get rid of the plate, the only thing that it really changes Alright, let's see. I think that should have fixed it. Yep. Takes away the white tracks. There's supposed to be an update coming for this tractor. Take the beans? Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'll run with the New Holland on the corn. When you get done with the beans, because I'm sure you're going to get done with the beans before I get done with the corn. Bring that all back here to the farm and then grab the case corn header and you can just pick up wherever you want to because we've got a lot of corn. So we've got all of this and corn over here, basically pretty much the entire eastern part of the map, and then we have that field of beans. So it's a decent sized field of beans, but I think there's way more corn to probably harvest here to pick. I'm gonna try to stay with this combine. So yeah, Highlands map comes out in a week from, well, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. Again, a lot of times the titles will drop the evening before they're officially supposed to. Sometimes they don't. It could be midnight. Could be a midnight release. Whenever it does drop, I will be going live with it. So, looking forward to it. Gonna go fishing. Gonna grow some onions. Gonna go around looking for all the messages in a bottle. Because I think that's the collectible. I think it's all like messages in a bottle, which is fitting because it's more of a fishing DLC, kind of one of the highlights. And then we get the Highland coos, the Highland cows. Get the big furry cows that look like, I'll be honest, they kind of look like a Muppet to me. I know that sounds weird, but they really do. They look like, I don't know, a cross between Snuffleupagus, okay, Cousin It, or Ralph the dog, which is another Muppet. So I don't know. To me, it's they're I've seen them before, but I mean, there's still this, I don't know, for some reason they remind me of a Muppet. And it's been a while since I saw the Muppets. Trying to remember the last time I watched anything Muppet-wise. Am I going to eat some haggis? I think I'm going to pass on the haggis this time around. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the haggis this time around. No. I'll eat some fish though. We have plenty of fish to eat. I'll tell you what, I'll get me some fish and chips and some tartar sauce to dunk both the fish and the chips in. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. We'll have a lot of fresh onions too. Okay, Fuzzy. You're good. What's haggis? I'm from South Africa. Twitchy, explain to him what haggis is. And go into great detail. It's a Scottish thing, I'm pretty sure. I'm always fascinated by the different foods and cuisines and such between America and like the UK and, you know, haggis and sausage and bangers and spotted dick and fish and chips, and you know, it's all very different, very unique. I had to pull up my Twitch window there. There you go. There's your explanation of haggis. Okay, now tell me what's that last bit there, Twitchy? Fuzzy said something like that in one of his last comments there. What's that last little bit? I would try to say it, but it'd probably come out way wrong. Way wrong. Way wrong. Potatoes and turnips. Okay. See, it's some things. There's some things that might be kind of the same thing here in America, but they're called different things. That would be two of them. Here we just call them potatoes and turnips. And over there they call them, well, that. So and I'm guessing, I'm just gonna take a guess, that those two words are probably pronounced over there the way they actually probably would sound coming out of my mouth. So I'm not gonna say those words. For the sake of our G-rated audience, or PG-rated audience, maybe, I'm not going to attempt to say those words. I'm gonna pass. What I am gonna do is open up my Dr. Pepper. Hey, don't put your pipe back in, sir. I'm not done emptying you yet. Come back here. And just a programming note here, if I disappear, my power has gone out. I'm not overly concerned right now, but it's a possibility. It has been, well, it's been raining, but it's been super windy. I think that's the cold weather coming in. So this afternoon I've got to get up there on a ladder and change out my central unit filter so I can switch that over to heat, because it's fixing to get really cold. We're looking at temperatures now. They're saying, not this week, but the week after this week, that it's going to get down possibly into the 20s. So, I mean, that makes sense, because technically it will be November. We've gotten that low before in October, but it's pretty rare. I actually went and looked at my filters. I bought them like several packages, and there was like, oh gosh, there was a bunch in a package, and I got them from Home Depot, and I went and looked, and I'm down to my last one, so I've actually got to get some more of those real soon. I might be able to order them online. Or since I've got at least one left, I know I won't be changing it probably until into the next year, so maybe just hold off and then swing by Home Depot and grab some more. I hope they don't ever stop making them. What do you do in that circumstance if they stop making your filter size for your central unit? What do you do? They stop making it? How do you change that? Duct tape and a prayer? I mean, I don't know. I hope they never stop making the size. It's a very unique size that I've got. My central unit is in the attic, and it's got the filter in the ceiling just outside the studio here, and it's a very unique size. I don't think it's a common size. Kind of long and skinny. I think I'm gonna get full before I make it back around there. Got the trucks over there ready to go though. One thing I would change about that silo system, I would just put in the AGI silo system because I can pull straight up to those and empty the grain cart here directly into those. That system over there, the one that Celobuki made, you can't do that. You have to have a trailer to go into that pit to dump any grain in there. I wonder how much that silo holds. I think I downloaded it. Let me look. Let me see if it's in there. I don't know if it's in there. I think I activated it. Let's see. Silos. It's like its own standalone silo. So there's the AGI. It holds 5.4 million. There it is right there. So that holds 16 million. So it's a nice one, but you can't. It does hold a lot. That's the only reason I'm keeping it. You can't pull in there with a grain cart. Guess I could put some kind of a conveyor system in or something where I could dump into it with a grain cart easier. Are you gonna make this turn? Don't think so. Nope. You're emptying me and I'm gonna go empty. Get you on the other side. Tell you, I'm looking forward to driving the speedboat over there on the Highlands map. Sometime this week they may it might be like Friday or something, or maybe Thursday or Friday. A lot of times Giants will drop a graph of the times that the game will be releasing in the different time zones of the world. So might get that. That'll be kind of like hopefully a tell-all where we know when and where it's gonna drop. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to that other side. I've got one over there on that side too. Could dump it straight into the dryer there. Plus I have that one empty one and then the little one there too I could dump in if I wanted to. But for now I'll just put it in here. Didn't take all of it. I think I will dump some in this trailer when I come back around. Well, no, let me go ahead and do. I'll dump some in the small one here as well. Just on my way out. That combine should be getting over here. Oh wow, he's at 70% already. 71. That corn is a high yield. I thought he'd make it all the way back over there, but he hasn't. And he's not going to. Ooh, that's a drop. And say, did you need a truck over there? I didn't even think about that. May want a truck to haul it down to the, if you want to haul it down to the silo down south, you can, Fuzzy. If you want to haul it over here, you can. Whichever one is more convenient. Okay. I was gonna say, whichever one feels closer. I don't remember that AGI silo being in there though. And it's not one. I don't think it's one that I downloaded. I guess they added it to the game. I don't remember it being in the base game. I remember looking for it, and maybe it's been in there the whole time, and it just, I just didn't see it. But I think they added it. I think it must have been an add-on or something, because the silo is down at the bottom of the list, right? And it goes from the smaller silos at the top to the bigger silos, and then you have that AGI one down there. That would be a good, that would actually be a good starting silo instead of one of the smaller ones. 'Cause, you know, we tend to like to go big or go home. So yeah, go back in here and look at it again. So here's all the silos kind of up at the top, right? So you start off with the small ones up here, and they get bigger as you go up. And then here's the larger in-game ones here. So that AGI pack is down here. So that was an add-on. I don't know when they added that on. Unless it came with this map, or I don't know. But then here's the modded stuff down here. And that's not a mod, because it would say that it was in green text down there. You can tell where the mods start because it'll have green text. So that's a downloaded mod that I've downloaded. See, it's got the green text below grain silo there. Iowa Plainsview mod. And then I downloaded these to put like silage and stuff in. So that was definitely added on later. The AGI bins are part of the map? Are they? Well, maybe they won't be something we can use later on. I don't know. It'd be nice if if they are part of the map and we can't use them anywhere else, then it'd be nice if somebody would mod those into the mod hub. I would download that one as its own standalone. Oh, they're in the map file, okay. It's funny that they're part of the map, but they're not part of the map. Like, they're not on the map anywhere. I don't think the one at Jackson Farm down there is. No, that one down there is not. That is not the AGI bins. I haven't seen them on here anywhere. Wonder why they're part of the map. Maybe he was gonna use them and then put his other one in. I don't know. check that mill down there and see if it's got any corn down there. It's at the bottom. It could definitely use more, so I'll probably take a load. Probably this next load I'll take down straight to the flour mill down there, so we can keep making our cornbread. You gonna eat your cornbread? Cool points if you know what movie that's from. Great movie with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. I still think Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry need to meet up and collaborate, and they need to bring us Medea Meets the Clumps. I think that would be a great movie. Doesn't have to be the same title, but I think that would be a great movie. They need to have a Medea meeting the Clumps, or the Clumps meeting Medea, or something like that. That would be hilarious. They're really missing out by not doing that. I think if Tyler Perry had been really super big back in the 90s like Eddie Murphy was with the Nutty Professor and the Clumps and all that, they probably would have made it back then. Try to get a full load to go down there. I think I'll get it though. I'll get whatever load I get to where when I get up to this approach down here, because there's a ditch over here right now. Can't drive off of that ditch. So as soon as I get to that approach down there, wherever I'm at, that's what I'll take. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna get full before then. I'm already at 94. $95. $96. $97. $98. $99. Stand by. Go. I'm going to take this down to the water mill, which is it's essentially the flour mill. Just dump it straight in. Oh, there's a car. Just dump it straight in there. Yeah, hoping we get the updates for this and maybe his 9RT. Because I like these tractors. I could see using them in the future, but Can't use them if they keep having white tracks all the time. So hopefully he'll release that update real soon. And these are, these are not technically the New Holland tracks. These are more like the quad tracks for the case. The original T9 tracks, I don't know what you would call the shape, and I'm guessing they probably have their own unique name. I just don't know what it is. They had 4 sides instead of 3. They weren't really like a pyramid or a triangle. They had 4 sides. No, I'm trying to remember my shapes, but I don't know. I know the octagon is 8 sides, right? And a pentagon is 5. What's 4? I don't know. Quadruple-gon? I don't know. Quadrangle? I don't know. I still don't know. I'm just guessing. That's all I can do. When you don't know, you basically have to guesstimate. Sometimes. And when you know that combine is already full, I've only been down there for a couple minutes, and that combine is already full. Can I go up through here? Oh yeah, I need to put a little approach right there, coming right into the field. Yeah, he didn't get very far, did he? I emptied him all the way almost to where that approach is right there, and he only made it right there. Starting to see a little light outside. That time of year, I guess, where it's dark outside. This one straw bale This one lone little straw bale. This has been sitting over here, I think it's almost since we started. Just been sitting there by its lonesome. I had a stack of them over here. It was like maybe the first. It was either the first harvest that we did or the second one. Wasn't too long after we did the first harvest that we merged these fields together. And I think it was before we merged them together that I put them straw bales over there. Oh, there's the wind again. Wind's blowing. Wonder how that's all going to work with the fishing. Like when you have your fishing pole and you go down to the river, creek, lake, whatever they got. Do you have to bait your hook? Do you have to... How does that work? I wonder how that's going to... I would imagine you got to put some bait on there. Maybe it's just one of those things where, you know, maybe it's like the chainsaw here. You know, the chainsaw, you don't have to put bar oil on it. You don't have to put, the 40-to-1 ratio gas in it. Morning, Crazy. How's it going? Wonder what do you got to do? Do you put bait on there? Will we have to dig for worms? Morning, Tomcat. Will we you know, what's the process? Is there a process? Is it just, and again, is it just one of those things where it's like chainsaw, you know, you pull it out and it's ready to go? Oh, it's not like the King of the Hill, you know. There was one episode where Hank, you know, they go fishing, and you know, Hank is dead set on the traditional worms, you know, for bait, for fishing, and he never catches a thing. So he talks to somebody, and they're like, well, yeah, you go see the guy, you know, the bait guy. He's a bait guy. He knows everything about bait. So Hank goes down to the part of town where this guy lives, and he runs into who he thinks is the guy, but it's not the guy. He actually ends up being like a drug dealer, and Hank actually accidentally buys some type of drug. I don't know what it is. It's probably, and they might have said it in the episode. It's either like maybe methamphetamine or like something like that to that effect. He uses that as bait, and guess what? The fish like it. He was catching fish left and right. Then he gets caught buying the drugs after he goes back to the guy, and he wanted something stronger because the fish, I guess they had adapted to the new bait, and you know, the fish weren't biting anymore. So all in all, you know, long story short, he ends up going back to the traditional worm because the fish weren't biting the drugs anymore. So that was a great episode. It was one of the earlier on episodes. Definitely part of the OG series, not one of the newer episodes. I think I'm just gonna dump it in that one trailer there for now. Yeah, I think they should, if Giants lets them. I know that the Highlands expansion, technically it's a DLC, but you know how they've been about DLCs in the past. I know when they got the 3D tracks with the what was it, the Kloss DLC, they threw a big fit over all the modders using the 3D tracks on their mods and said, no, you can't do that. This is part of a DLC. And now it's fine. It's part of the end game. But they went after all the big ones. Sid. They went after Custom. They went after. I think they went after whoever was trying to use them. So, I'm hoping that won't be the case here. I have a feeling though that the Giants maps. The base game Riverbend, the base game, maybe Silver Run, all them. They will probably allow the fishing stuff there, because that's Riverbend's actually got the area that's cordoned off for that expansion, so they've been planning that since they released that map at least. So you gotta look at it and say, okay, they knew, they already knew that they were going to be bringing that, so they'll probably bring it into that map. But allowing the other modders to do it, I don't know if they'll allow them to do that or not. Giants is pretty funny about that kind of stuff. Kind of crazy that they threw that big of a fit over the 3D tracks, though. Like, no, these are our tracks. They're 3D tracks. They're our 3D tracks. Mine. And then, they... Actually, I think they suspended some of the modders for using them. So... And, that's... I think the community threw a bigger fit when they suspended those, those bigwig modders, It's like, okay, these modders, these guys, they're helping grow your customer base, basically. They're making the game better, but you're going to penalize them for, using 3D tracks. And, now it doesn't even matter because, again, it's part of the in-game, base game. So these 3D tracks, even though they turn white sometimes, these are now part of the in-game. You don't really have to worry about the tracks anymore. I think in the future what they need to do is when they do the licensed equipment like that, if it has something unique, kind of like the covers here. So they put in the animated covers with the Plains and Prairie bit, but they didn't stop. Who was that? Was it Carl or was it Clutch? Who did the trailers that we got? They have the animated tops on them, so you can close the tarp and it doesn't just like snap shut like that. It actually is animated, so it will roll back and forth. I don't think that's been an exclusivity, and they may be using a different type of method for animating their tarp on the semi-trailer. But if you're gonna be doing something to that effect, maybe have a stipulation in the license where that type of process is not restricted from not being able to be modded. Because, I mean, they license it for the game, right? And it's not restricted. So as soon as they brought 3D tracks into the game, the license does not say, okay, well, no, you can't use that here because that's, you know, DLC. Licensed content. But isn't it still licensed through you guys, even in the base game? But, you know, you can use it? It doesn't make sense to me. I won't understand that. Beautiful morning, cutting a corn. We were talking about this yesterday. I really want to go either to the farm, like the farmhouse, or to maybe a restaurant in town and grab like some eggs, hash browns, you know, pancakes, stuff like that. Be nice to have some bacon and sausage, but I don't think they'll ever allow that. It's again, I've made that argument before. It's part of the world. You know, people eat sausage and bacon and ham and, you know, chicken and steak and burgers and ground beef. And I make myself hungry sitting here thinking about it all, but it's part of the world. Not everybody's a vegetarian. You don't have to be a vegetarian. It'd be nice to be able to eat meat in Farming Simulator. Sounds like my neighbor's taking off somewhere. Let me pull up my camera. Going somewhere, I guess, well, it is Sunday morning. Maybe they're going to church or something. I gotta find me some socks. I gotta find me some thermal socks. Maybe some, like, I don't know what, wool socks maybe or something. Some socks maybe that I can put over the socks that I've got. The socks that I've got, they are not, definitely not thermal socks. These are kind of athletic-ish socks. They're more for, like, I guess, athletes and stuff. Or summertime. They're very nice and cooling, but I need something that keeps my feet warm. These, I have discovered, do not keep my feet warm. I gotta find me some thermal socks. So either some wool socks or some thick cotton socks. Don't know that I want to shoot for like the battery operated socks. You guys heard of those? I know hunters use them sometimes. They'll have the battery operated socks that they'll switch on and they have a little, kind of like a warming blanket. Keeps your feet warm. I don't want to do that. That would be bad. Step in a puddle and be like. Grain getting old. Yep, need the thick socks. Yep, I gotta have the thick socks. I tell you, you know, you think about it, and you start to appreciate stuff that we used to be like, oh, I ain't ever gonna be like that when I get old. Oh no, you'll be exactly like this when you get old. Okay. Before it rains, stuff hurts. Okay. The socks that you wear, you're gonna need something special to keep them warm because your feet get cold. What else? Your vision's really just absolutely gonna start to fail you when you get up into your 30s or 40s. It's like when you hit your 30s and 40s, your check engine light comes on, and then it's like stuff just starts happening. Okay, you need an oil change. Your vision starts going bad. You know, it's just this one thing right after another. Seems like anyway. Just like those insurance commercials, yeah. Yep. You like, hello, I'm Walter Brimley. Diabetes. Or, like the Allstate commercials, you know. Protect yourself from mayhem like me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in my early 40s. We're kind of in the same boat. I've always been told that when you hit 40, that's over the hill. I said, man, when I hit 40, I didn't go over the hill. I fell off a cliff. Everything just kind of all hit at once, you know. I guess the next thing to go will be my memory, which I think I have a pretty good memory right now. Maybe the next thing will be my hearing. I've actually been pretty good with my hearing. I haven't really, I mean, yeah, sometimes I listen to a lot of rock music, but I haven't gone to, you know, a ton of concerts where it's just been like deafeningly loud. Had some fireworks go off close to me, and, you know, the loud pops and stuff like that, but nothing really too damaging for the hearing part. My knees pop a lot. And then again, with the weather, you know, anytime it's going to rain, I can tell you when it's going to rain. I can give you a 24-hour heads up. Sometimes a 48-hour heads up when it's going to rain. Or snow. Especially snow. Oh man, when it turns off really cold, yeah, you're going to know it. I can tell you when the cold front's going to come through, okay? I can tell you when the pressure changes. I can feel it in my sinuses. Got the sinuses in my face. I can feel when that pressure changes. Like, yep, we're fixing to have a cold front. The barometer is going to be this, and we're going to have rain on Thursday. Get ready. Batten down the hatches, you know. I better... You know what? I don't even think I own an umbrella. I have a jacket that's waterproof. If it's going to be just torrential rains, I'll throw that jacket on. I keep it in my truck. I'll just throw that jacket on, and it's 100% waterproof. So there's absolutely no water that gets through that. If you're under that jacket, you're dry. Not one of those that's water resistant. It is a waterproof. jacket. So you get your eyes checked, yeah. I thought they were going to restrict my driver's license. I had to renew my driver's license recently. And I thought they were going to be like, you know, when I went in to renew it, you know, a lot of times they'll make you do the eye test, right? They'll have you look into the thing. And if you can't pass the eye test, they don't renew your license. You have to get glasses and then you have to come back. They did not make me do that. I was very thankful for that. Even though I had some glasses, I did not have to do the eye test, nor did I have to put on the, put them on or, you know, anything like that. They were like, all right, here you go, you're good to go. I just paid the renewal and I was out. I'm good until, let's see, 2030, I want to say 2033, 2033. I think that's when it actually expires again. So you know, that's a ways away. That's almost 10 years. So I'm good at least until then. By that time, we may have the robots that can drive us around and cook for us and stuff. So I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, you know, today we already have like some of the self-driving cars and stuff. So you think in 10 years we gotta be to the point where we're gonna have the cars that say, you know, you just get in and say, all right, take me home, you know, take me to work, you know, take me to Domino's, you know, go through the drive-through. And I'm full. There we go, done. I think I want to put this in the dryer. I think I got some room in there. Can't wait for a self-driving car. Yeah, you know, when we were growing up, we always looked forward to the day that we could get out there and drive. And, you know, yeah, when we first started doing it, it was, you know, hey, I can drive. Ooh, this is fun. I'm going to go everywhere. It's kind of like, okay, I'm older now. I don't want to go anywhere. And if I do have to go somewhere, it'd be nice if somebody could drive me. You know, I may sound like driving Miss Daisy a little bit there, but it'd be nice, you know. Somebody drive me there, it'd save me from having to drive. I'd rather, you know, mess around on my phone or something, or listen to music, you know, and all that. I listen to music when I'm driving anyway, but it'd be nice to be able to, you know, do stuff, you know, surf the web or something. Or just enjoy the scenery. I'm ready for the robots. I'll be honest with you. I don't care if it's AI based or not. You know, I've always been like, you know, I don't like the AI stuff. You know, that's the Terminator, that's Skynet, you know. One day they'll take over, but hey, you know what? If that robot will cook for me, I'm down. Get a robot that will cook and clean. Basically, what was her name on the Jetsons? Was it Rosie? Rosie the robot? I want Rosie the robot. That's what I want. I want Rosie the robot. Come in, cook, clean, you know, get the mail, mow the lawn, do the dishes, wash the car, feed the hogs, still got those bills to pay. Cool points if you know what movie I'm quoting to. the bean harvest is going pretty good from here anyway. Corn harvest, we're about in the same boat. We're doing pretty good on it. So we got that field of corn, that field, and then the little bitty field down there. Oh, this is gonna be his. This is gonna be his. What we call that? The narrow pass. There's always gonna be a narrow pass, and this is gonna be it because he's gonna turn around and come back north now. On this side. Yeah, you're right, Crazy. If we have the robots like that could actually take care of us, and I think it'll probably get to that point. I think the AI robots would probably replace nursing homes. I mean, when you get to that level of advancement in technology, yeah. Christmas Vacation, you got it. I was quoting Christmas Vacation. Wow, gee, look at the time. Gotta do that laundry, feed the hogs, wash the car. Still got those bills to pay. Great movie. It's almost time to watch that movie too. We're getting closer to it. I kind of wish that we had one more vacation movie. But maybe not technically a vacation movie. I wish we had another Griswold movie. I wish we had a Halloween Griswold movie. You know, we have the summer movies, so we have Vacation, European Vacation. Although European Vacation could be different time of the year, but the vacation movie, you have Vegas Vacation, you have Christmas Vacation. It would have been nice to have a Easter, Griswold Easter, or not Easter, well, maybe an Easter one too, but Griswold Easter, Griswold Halloween. Be nice to have like a Griswold Halloween movie. I don't know what the title would be, but it'd be nice to have something like that. Kind of like the Ernest movies, you know. With the Ernest movies, we had pretty much an Ernest movie for every time of year. We had Ernest Saves Christmas. We had Ernest Scared Stupid, so that's the Halloween one. We had Ernest Goes to Camp, there's your summer one. We had Ernest Goes to School. We had Slam Dunk Ernest, Ernest in the Army, Ernest, did I say Ernest Rides Again? So many different Ernest movies. Ernest Goes to Jail, I don't know what time of the year that would be. Anytime, I guess, maybe. Yeah, the Ernest movies were great. He died way too soon. I think he did a lot. He did a lot. He did a lot of commercials and stuff, but he did a lot of the movies and stuff. I think he probably could have had more in him. But that's, you know, one of the unfortunate things. You know, he was a smoker for a long time. Never let the kids see him smoke though. But he actually ended up, he quit smoking right near the end of his life, and he passed away in What, 2000 I think is when he died. Yeah, he died. He was up there. He wasn't at an early age, but I think it was too soon. Yeah, he ended up, I think he had, I want to say he had lung cancer from the smoking, so. So he was the voice of Slinky Dog in Toy Story. So he was in Toy Story 1. I think he did some of the dialogue for Toy Story 2, but some of it, and I know completely for Toy Story 3, they replaced Jim Varney as the voice of Slinky Dog with another well-known actor. And a lot of you 90s kids will probably remember this one. Do you guys remember Boy Meets World? You remember Sean, Corey's friend Sean? His dad is actually the voice of Slinky Dog in Toy Story 3, and maybe some of the dialogue in Toy Story 2, but completely in Toy Story 3. He took over for he took the place where Jim Varney, he passed away. So you can kind of hear the difference, but they're very similar. I think that's why they chose him. So. Yeah, him and Ernest, they kind of have that, deep, raspy, southern kind of dialect with their voice. Yep, I totally remember those commercials. Micro Machines. They had the really fast talking guy. I remember those. I had a few Micro Machines. I had the, there was a fold out Micro Machine City, and then there was the Micro Machine military Chinook helicopter that you could load all your Micro Machines on. I lost the front propeller, but I had that. I would always get Micro Machines like for Easter and maybe a pack for my birthday and Christmas, like a stocking stuffer or something. I had the Micro Machine train. That thing was pretty cool. Forgot this guy gets full going on the way back. This is where a Stevie combine would come in handy right here. Having these larger fields like this. I think we're probably definitely going to have them over on the 4X map when we go over to that map. Just for this reason. I mean, you think about it, this is not a 4X map. This is a standard map. But this is we would call this a medium-sized field to our standards. The in-game equipment, it can't hold up to these medium-sized fields. So You had the aircraft carrier? That's awesome. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing the aircraft carrier. I had some jets. I had some I remember having a lot of the commercial jets, the Micro Machine commercial jets. I remember having, and I probably still have them somewhere. They're probably in some box or container somewhere. Probably out in the barn. I remember I had all the Batman cars. So I had like the Batman car, the Joker van, the Bat Wing aircraft. I had some Star Wars vehicles. Had the NASA stuff, the shuttle, the Apollo stuff. I was really big into the space stuff. Had a lot of farming stuff too. Had little, I don't know if they were actual Micro Machine branded, but they were the same scale as all the Micro Machines. But I had Micro Machine. I know I had the tractor, the disc plow, the little miniature Micro Machine. Oh gosh, what? Had the trailer. It was like a wagon. Had the. I'm trying to remember what all I had in the Micro Machine ones. I know I had some like in the Matchbox size. Had a lot in the Matchbox size. Oh yeah, Ghostbusters. Yeah, I had a lot of Ghostbusters stuff too. Had the Ghostbusters. I was really big in the Ghostbusters stuff. Had the Ghostbusters car. I had Slimer. Had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I had all the Ghostbusters. I had the Ghostbusters too that they were like they had action stuff, so you could like squeeze their arm in, and they would do like a scared face. Had those. Had a few GI Joes. I think I was probably more big into the real Ghostbuster stuff than in the GI Joe stuff. I had some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. I always wanted the pizza shooting van just for the pizzas. That weird. I always wanted to launch pizzas, you know, just for the pizzas. Forget the ninja stuff and all that. You know, I just give me the van for the pizzas, man. You know, if you can load a pizza up there and shoot it to me, I'm down. You know. Yep, I had the backpack and the trap. I always wanted the goggles. I never got the goggles. They had the goggles that actually were part of. They had another like wand. It was like a gun thing that they had they had kind of the same, almost the same size, foam yellow. Because you know the backpack, the proton pack, it had a long yellow thing coming out of the thing for like the wand. But then the popper thing, it had the little small short popper things, and then the goggles I think actually had spaces on them where you could put those little yellow things on. So if you had the popper gun and you ran out of ammo, you could take the yellow foam things off of the goggles and reload your foam gun. You know, bust some more ghosts. But yeah, I had the trap. I had the backpack. The backpack actually came with the PKE meter, I think, and the armband. It was a strap-on logo, so you could just strap it on to any clothing that you had on. I need to empty while he's coming back. And then if I remember right, the ghost trap, it actually glowed in the dark, didn't it? Didn't like the doors or something on it glow in the dark? I think they did. And then I had another thing that they had that ran on batteries, and it was like another wand, but it was like a projection thing, and it made sounds. And then you had to go into a dark room, and then you'd pull the trigger, and then it would show whatever ghost you wanted to see on the wall. So it had like a light bulb in it, and it would project that image onto the wall. Always had a weird sound. It's like or something like that. Sounded like a goat or something. And then later on, we found the firehouse. It was a used firehouse. It was missing the sign and I think maybe the doors, but it had like the pole on it. You know, they had the pole to come down from the top floor and all that. Bought that like at a garage sale. Never had that one, you know, brand new originally. I had all the little pieces to it, but loved having that firehouse. I had a little helicopter too. I think you could fit maybe 2 of the characters in it. It had a handle on the back of it, and it had like a trigger, and it had like a claw on a string that you could detach and pick ghosts up with it. I didn't have the slime for the house. What I did have was the Nickelodeon GAC. Y'all remember that? What I used was the Nickelodeon GAC. Wasn't as, I think it was, what's the right word? It wasn't as liquidy as the original slime, but it still kind of had the same purpose. You could use it as slime, and it was easier to clean up. I remember I bought, that's what I wanted one year, I think, for my birthday. I said, you know what? I just want some of the white Nickelodeon GAC. And what I did was I used the white Nickelodeon GAC as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know, in the movie when they roast the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, they're covered in marshmallow. That's what I used the white Nickelodeon GAC for. Over far enough. Just right on the edge of it there. Yeah, they had several things. There was a lot of that stuff that I didn't have. Yeah, no glitch on the auger yet. It's hanging in there. I think I'll go dump this into the dryer real quick. Yes. Well, I say that we had family that had an NES and we were on it all the time. We played Mario Brothers, we played Duck Hunt, we played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. We played what was the one? Double Dragon. We played. Trying to remember them all now. It's been a while. We played a racing game. Don't remember the name of it. And then there was, I want to say Contra. It was a shooting game, not like shooting, not like Duck Hunt, but it was like a, like an arcade game, like the guy that goes in and has like a blaster gun or something. I think it was Contra for the original NES. Now the Super NES, Metroid, there was a lot of games that I got the Sega Genesis, and a lot of the games were exclusive to NES, Super NES, and a lot of the games were exclusive to the Sega Genesis. So I played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. I played a lot of Lethal Enforcers. That actually came in a big box, and it came with a revolver style gun. So you would play Lethal Enforcers, and it was like robbers in a bank and terrorists at the airport. This is all pre 9/11. That probably wouldn't sell today. Had that. Jurassic Park. Played that on the Sega. I think I had more games for the Sega than I did the other. But Jurassic Park, and then the original Toy Story for Sega Genesis. Had that. I think Sega had a lot of the better sports games on it. Had baseball games. Loved playing the baseball games. Of course, I collected baseball cards as a kid too. We'd always get the Topps baseball card packs that had the bubble gum in them. And we got the 3-ring binders, and I still have my baseball cards somewhere. Again, I don't know where, but they're somewhere out there. In here, out there somewhere. I guess I need to do like a inventory, or like a fall cleaning or a spring cleaning, and go and find all this stuff and like write it down where it's at. Okay, this is where this is at. GoldenEye? You mean the one for a Nintendo 64? I never had a Nintendo 64. I played a lot of Nintendo 64. I had friends that had it. Played it a lot at Walmart. They used to have the station set up at Walmart. But had friends that had it. Played GoldenEye. Played Star Fox. Really liked playing the Mario Kart. The original Mario game, Banjo-Kazooie. Tons of games. I'm probably not remembering them all either. There was one that was the Star Wars game. What was that called? What was the racing game called that they had for Star Wars? From the Episode 1 prequel. They had a Nintendo 64 game for that. Yeah, instead of getting the Nintendo 64, I wanted a PlayStation. So I went straight from Sega and the Nintendo stuff to Sony, to the PlayStation, and that's where I had a lot of games after the previous gen consoles. I remember Twisted Metal. That was a fun game. That was like the first console I had that the games, like the graphics were like 3D. And now when you look back at it, it's like, okay, we thought that was revolutionary then. This is like crazy looking at it now. It's like, okay, that's not that revolutionary. But yeah, Twisted Metal, MDK, we had what was the Metal Gear Solid. That game was, again, for its time, that was like mind-blowing. It was such a long game that it had to come on 2 discs for the PlayStation. But man, what a game. That was an awesome game. I didn't play Splinter Cell. I didn't have that one. I had another Toy Story game for PlayStation. I had Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 came out for PlayStation. I remember having the original Toy Story on the Sega Genesis, and then I got Toy Story 2 and A Bug's Life on the original PlayStation. Again, probably still have those games somewhere. I need to find all this stuff and just go back down memory lane or something. I had a couple of Dukes of Hazzard games for PlayStation. Ace Combat. I was really big into Ace Combat. That was like a fighter jet game. Really a lot of detail with those games too. Played a lot of those games. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some of them that were probably really big. I remember playing the Need for Speed game. It was Need for Speed, I want to say it was 3. And it was the first Hot Pursuit game on PlayStation. Played that a lot. I think that's full. I think that's full. And I think this other one's full. Let me go ahead and dump it. Already put a lot in the dryer there. Nope, that one's full too. I had the Independence Day game. Played that one. Some of the games, they sounded good at the time, but then when you actually sat down and played them, it was like, yeah, the movie was better. A lot of PlayStation 2 games. PlayStation 2 is where Grand Theft Auto 3 was kind of like the first, wasn't the first Grand Theft Auto game, but it was the first type of Grand Theft Auto game that kind of laid the foundation for Grand Theft Auto as we know it today. It was the first like 3D style Grand Theft Auto game. Do you ever start from scratch on FS maps? Funny you should mention that. Yes, we do. We've actually done some start from zero. And I'm thinking about doing that maybe on one of the future maps. Haven't decided. I don't really want to do it on the Highlands map because I want to see, you know, I want to use starting equipment. They got a lot of nice older starting equipment over there on the Highlands map. So I'll probably start with whatever they start you with over there. But we could totally do it on the Riverbend 4X map. We could start from zero there. We start with no equipment, no money, and the only thing we got is what's available to us in loan, which won't be much because we won't own anything. We start with no land. Basically just really starting from the bottom from scratch. Yeah, no loan. And whatever loan is there is not much. You don't start. I'm trying to remember what the starting loan is. It's like somewhere between 250 to 500,000, I think, is what it used to be. Is what you could take out. No, we've never done hard economy. Our economy has always been the same. It's always been normal. We don't like easy. Hard is just ridiculous. We like normal. So we've always played normal economy. What we have always done is new farmer, especially on modded maps. Because, and really the in-game maps now, because if you don't start with new farmer, then you don't get the setup building wise that you would get, you know, starting out. So if we were starting, you know, an in-game, one of the in-game maps like Riverbend or Pantai or something like that, we'll always start new farmer. Now we'll change the economy to normal. Oh, is that the way you do it? Is that how y'all do it on console? On PC, we just go into the XML and just change everything to 0. You do 100,000 start and 100,000 loan. Pay it right at start. Then you got no monies. Yeah, that must be how you guys do it on console. I guess you could do it on PC too that way. You start out normal, you get 150,000 loan. Yeah, me and old man did a start from nothing map. Wonder where he's at. He said he hopes to come back. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Oh, you find it quicker the way you said? Yeah, it might be. You just do it all in game. Just start with 100,000 and then do 100,000 in loan and then pay it right back. That might be the quicker way to do it. Yeah. Instead of going into the XML. But to do it that way, you would have to start it as farm manager, right? Otherwise, you start with equipment too. Then you'd have to sell all your equipment. Unless you start with equipment and you just don't have any money. When we do it from the very everything. No equipment, no money, no loan. Um, Morning, Big Al. Yeah, we basically are starting from scratch. We don't. I mean, literally, we gotta run or walk wherever. We gotta walk to the store, 5 miles in the snow, uphill both ways. That's how we start from scratch. Farm manager is you start without any of the buildings. So you don't have a barn, you don't have a farmhouse, you don't have any of that. Which again, I could see doing it that way if you wanted to do it that way, but we've always liked having at least the buildings that the mod or the map author has put in. Not that we won't change them down the road, but it's nice to be able to kind of play the map itself the way they intend it. Now we can sell that property back and then have to buy that property. And that's we've done that too. We've started with no property, no equipment, no loan, no, nothing, no money. Oh yeah, they do have that option now. I forgot about that. They have the option that you can do starter farm, yes or no. The guided tour that I'm thinking about, I think it's like the next option down. And we don't need the guided tour. I'll be honest. Maybe if you're first starting a game right off, but we don't need the guided tour. We know. Uh-oh, I disconnected. I went to hit my cruise button. Wonder, does it start you with all the stuff that they put in though? Does it still do it? That setting, start with starter farm, does it actually put the buildings in there and you just don't start with the property? Need to test that. It's probably different on modded maps too. If you did farm manager, I don't know. We haven't started with farm manager or start from scratch. I think the economies, I know you can set those at the beginning too now. The way it used to be is if you did new farmer, it would start you out on the easy economy, and you could change that in the game. I think you can change that at the beginning of the save now. So you can do whichever economy you want, whether you're doing new farmer, farm manager, or start from scratch. The default used to be new farmer was easy, farm manager was normal, and then start from scratch by default started you on hard economy. But I think that's all different now. It's been a while since we've done anything like that. Okay, so Alma's kind of that way. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the modded maps, they still start you off with equipment and stuff. So yeah, and it's no problem for me to do it that way either. I can just go in and select what mods I want to put in there, and then what I'll do is I'll go into career mode before we do a video or stream it, and set it up the way we want to start. So I can just take care of all that while I'm in the career mode, and then even going back to the XML and doing all that too, and fixing stuff there. Don't do a ton of XML stuff anymore. Used to be able to change mods up and do all that. I don't really do that stuff a lot anymore. Only thing in the XML that I will change is the money, to take it down to 0. Or if we have an insurance claim. We have had to have some insurance claims in the past. Not too many, but there's been a few. That's the question that needs to be answered, Crazy. I do not know. If you enable starter farm, I would assume what that means is that you own that property. Like you own the farm, the starter farm. But yeah, definitely would like the map itself to start with the buildings that's like Stevie, all his buildings that he puts in there, to start with those buildings. Now we don't necessarily have to own them starting out, but it would be nice to have his buildings in there, and then obviously that'd be one of the first things you would want to work towards, and then probably start out small. Start with some small fields. Small areas of land, maybe a little small wooded area or something. Yeah, that's the way I described it. That's the way it used to be. I don't know how it is now. I remember definitely in 22, all the buildings there at the farm on Elm Creek. The house, the little red garage, even the silo. You didn't get the silo. And then I think the barn, the big barn. You didn't get the big barn. If you started either one of those modes. So if you did farm manager mode, if you did start from scratch, you didn't get those buildings. Now those you did not start. I'm pretty sure those modes didn't start with equipment either. But again, I'll look at it and see how it does. Either way, it doesn't. I guess there's probably more than one way to skin a cat in this situation. What I'll do is when we start from scratch, we really start from scratch. And the mode, it really doesn't matter about the mode anymore because you can set your economy up to how you want. So we'll always do normal economy. We'll go in, we'll get rid of all the equipment. No money, no equipment, no land. Basically just the clothes on our back. I think we did Felsbrunn 4X that way. We started, I think the story, we always kind of come up with a little story behind everything. Our story was we were hobos that had lived on the rails, boxcars and stuff, all our lives. And we actually had a tent that we set up somewhere beside like a little farm, one of the cheap little farms. And we started small. We started with no money and started with no equipment. We did contracts to make money. So we bought a tent. We set the tent up. Yeah, I think that would be fun. We might do Stevie's map that way. And just start small. Yeah, just a tent. Yeah, I think old man was here for that one. I think me and Phil started that one out. Yeah, that's all we had was just a little tent. That full already? That is full already. Let me pack that in there. Don't need to look at chat while I'm backing into the silo. Pay attention to where I'm backing up to here. Yeah, the Highlands map will probably start with the equipment that they bring, and the older, it'd probably definitely be the older equipment. Won't be like the newer JCBs. It'll probably be the older JCB, the older New Holland. Trying to remember what else was there. A lot of older equipment. We'll probably start small. Again. Yep, I'm hoping that Phil and old man might be back for let's say there's a fuzzy. Hoping Phil and old man might be back for the Highlands map or Stevie's 4X map. Definitely got to work on the mod folder though. I'm gonna hand pick a lot of the Stevie mods that we're gonna use, and really dwindle that down. Started with a 10 on Wilkers. $1 tent. And say we played Wilkers. Whichever farm sim it came out on the first time, and then we played it again. I can't remember which farm sims they were, but one was one farm sim, and when we played it again, it was the next farm sim. So it was either 17 and 19 or 19 and 22. Can't remember which ones it was though. I will say that the second time we played it, they added the it was like one collectible. Who was the other guy you played with too? He chatted with you on voice. Old man or Phil? Morning, Trent. I don't know what happened to Phil. I'm assuming that he is working. I think that that happens a lot. Most of the time, people, it's just one of the things people have to work. I used to work on the weekends I used to work Saturdays and Sundays. That's before I did streaming. I actually started doing YouTube videos first. He wasn't a streamer, no. Yeah, sometimes I mute my mic. There's some stuff y'all don't need to hear. I might be snacking, I might be sneezing, might be snoring. No. I don't fall asleep. Most of the time it's snacking though. Got a little bag of what is this? White cheddar skinny popcorn. And I've got the Dr. Pepper is not too loud. The Dr. Pepper and the orange soda, that stuff's not too loud. You might hear me open them. You might hear me take a little sip of them. But you guys don't need to hear me doing the munchies. I know that drives a lot of people crazy. Sometimes me. Sometimes that drives me crazy hearing other people. What was that term that our college professor always used? And you guys don't laugh at this, but this is an actual word, and you can Google it if you want to. The process of mastication. Yeah, it's not the other word. Masticating. Mastication. It is another word for chewing. Or as we say in the Deep South, smacking. So, yeah. That's... You guys don't need to hear that on stream. Nah. I've got snacks. I got plenty of snacks. I'm always snacking. I'm gonna have to go get me some more to drink too, because I just finished my Dr. Pepper. I got a break coming up here pretty soon. Nope. When I started out doing it, I wasn't streaming. I worked on the weekends. And I just made YouTube videos. Started out with Farming Simulator 15. And then I was on console, so I was really limited to, when I started out, not even 3 maps. It was just limited to only 2 maps. When I started out. I think there was 3 maps total in Farming Simulator 15. We had... Westbridge Hills, Bjornholm, and then with the gold expansion, we got Sosnovka. So there were really only 3 maps for console people on Farming Simulator 15. And I think it was that way for a little while. We didn't have really any mods. We did have some. There was a little bit of DLC. We had the JCB DLC, and I think there was a New Holland DLC. Then we had the little Lamborghini tractor that was the DLC, but that's about it. We really didn't have mods. Now I did play some Farming Simulator 15 on PC, but it was just with Puma Plow. Got to play on their servers. I had a laptop Matter of fact, I've still got the same laptop. I played on a MacBook Pro, but it was not worthy of. Plus, I didn't have the internet to be able to stream. My thing with the internet was I had, what do you call that? Tethered internet, where you connect. I connected a USB to my cell phone, and I used that for a while until they ended, the truly unlimited data stuff. And then I had to switch over to a satellite-based thing, which that was extremely limited during the daytime, but was super fast from midnight to 5 a.m. So I would stay up till midnight and upload my YouTube videos from midnight to 5 a.m. during that window. And that's when I'd download, music and stuff like that too. That was the time to use the internet, was overnight. So not really a hotspot. I think it was well, maybe it was kind of a hotspot, but it was tethering off of the cell phone. And I had my cell phone in a little holder, and I'd hang the holder up on the window so I could get a better signal. That's back when I lived in the sticks. So yeah, internet was rough going. Didn't have any of this nice new fancy stuff. I have fiber internet now. Amazing. Having the faster internet enables me to be able to stream to you guys live, to be able to do the YouTube videos, to be able to, watch the stuff on TV, YouTube, all that. It's really a blessing. And that wasn't that long ago. That was right at about 10 years ago, maybe just a little over 10 years ago. 10, 12 years maybe. Huh. A stream without Matt snacking is like a day without sunshine. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'll never intentionally snack on the microphone for you guys. You guys don't want to hear that. Because there's other sounds that come with snacking too. There's other sounds. What is the other term for... well, for lack of a better term, burping, belching, which is actually a comment. What do you call it? A compliment. It's actually a compliment if you're Amish. Did you guys know that? If you're ever sitting down with an Amish group or family and they make the food and you eat the food, to belch or burp is a compliment to the cook, whoever prepared the food. It's a compliment to them if you belch in the Amish community. Yeah. So yeah, it's rough in the sticks. Yeah, I live in town now. I have the fiber internet. Very nice. I'm gonna get full. I have to go empty again. Yeah, maybe it was a hotspot, but tethered to the computer with a cable. I don't think they called it a hotspot. I think it was, because a hotspot is like like a Wi-Fi hotspot, where you can connect to it wirelessly, like using Wi-Fi. It actually creates a Wi-Fi signal. What I had was basically they called it tethering. So you still use the phone for internet, but you were connected via a cable to your computer. I remember when we started with dial-up internet. Those were the days. Oh man, that was late '90s. Gosh, we started. We when we first got the dial-up internet, it was very, very, very early on. We had email. I think that's what's kind of was one of the starting things. Email and the messenger thing. What was it called? Was it MSN Messenger or something like that? It was something kind of like that, but the early version. And that's all we had. And then we discovered when we got a new computer with a CD burner, we discovered the likes of Napster. Um, and there was other sites. Some of them, all of them, I'm pretty sure probably had viruses. But yeah, we discovered that yeah, you could download, share music, and burn your CD. That's how we did it back in the day. First is how we used to do it. We would stick a cassette in the stereo, and then we'd listen to the radio, and then we'd wait for a song that we really wanted, and then we'd have to hit the record button and then the stop button, and then you kind of go from there. Yeah, LimeWire was one of them. I think BearShare was one of them. Kazaa might have been one of them. A lot of different ones. A lot of those were a lot of them had viruses. We were always looking for you just had to look for a higher quality file, like a higher quality song. And sometimes it would take, 30 minutes on dial-up to download one song. And then you'd get it and it'd be like, oh, the quality's terrible. So, yeah, I'm stuck. Yeah, can't do that stuff no more. Yeah, Casey Kasem. Yeah, I recorded a lot of radio stuff. This is Casey Kasem. Now on with the countdown. Yeah, Napster was, I think, our biggest one. I think that was the first one we started out with. Back in the same day we had MTV, where we discovered all of our new music. We'd watch TRL and the top 20s and stuff like that. We'd watch the MTV back when they had music. It was right around the time that they started doing reality stuff that kind of killed the music off. Yeah, simpler times, simpler days. Bad when you talk about Napster and all that stuff. And those were the simpler days. The sign that the Generation X and millennials and all of us were getting old. I was talking to a student at work. We have students that come into the department that, follow us, and she was like, "What year did you graduate?" I said, "High school?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, 2003. And she said, "Wow." She said, "I was born that year." I was like, "Oh, God. No." And then it's one of them, made a comment about, being born in the 1900s. So I kind of use that as a running joke now. Yeah, I was born back in the 1900s. Yeah, it's sad when I'm training people that were not even around when 9/11 happened. So they probably just, when they see stuff about that, they don't have the same connection, that we probably have. They don't remember, the twin towers. They don't remember, pre 9/11 times. They just see it as an event in history. I remember the pre 9/11 times. I remember when Limp Bizkit filmed a music video on top of the World Trade Center 2 tower, the South Tower. That's where they filmed their music video. Gosh, what song was it? Now I'm really showing my age. Can't remember the song. One of their songs they filmed up there. Which song was it? I want to say it was My Way, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to Google it. That's gonna bug me. Limp Bizkit. World Trade Center. Limp Bizkit's connection to the World Trade Center is through their 2000 music video for the song Rollin'. No, it was Rollin'. Okay. I remember the Rollin' video was in a part of the video, at least, was in like a studio where they had like a lot of lights and mirrors or something. Unless I'm thinking of another song. The band received a letter from the World Trade Center on September 10th, 2001, a day before the attacks, thanking them for the music video. The band was reportedly the last musical group to perform on the towers before 9/11. So yeah, they were the last band to perform up there. They weren't the only band, but they were the last band to perform up there. I remember there was an old movie with Tom Hanks. It's a movie made, gosh, I want to say it was made in the late 70s, early 80s. And it had a very, very young Tom Hanks. I think it was even before they made the Bosom Buddies. I think it was like one of his very first films. And I'm trying to remember the name of the film. It had to deal with the Dungeons and Dragons game. Or maybe a game that was kind of similar to it. I think it was called Mazes and Monsters. Let me look that up. Mazes and Monsters. Okay, so Mazes and Monsters was a 1982 film starring Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, David Wallace, Wendy Crewson. Don't know who any of these other people are. Basically, the synopsis is 4 college students become immersed in fantasy role-playing games, causing tragic results based on Rona Jaffe's book. So yeah, maybe the game was called Mazes and Monsters. Maybe it wasn't really Dungeons and Dragons, but it's kind of based on Dungeons and Dragons. But anyway, long story short, they filmed a lot of the last part of that movie in the South Tower. Like they show footage of them in the lobby at what it looked like in 1982, and they show them going up the escalator, and then they go up to the roof, and it's kind of neat to see that. All that history. I remember when, a lot of times when they aired on TV now, they don't show it, but you guys remember Home Alone 2? Kevin goes up to the top of the second tower of the World Trade Center, and they have like a helicopter shot of him up there on the tower taking pictures from the observation deck on the roof. So a lot of times they cut that out now, though. When they sometimes when they air it, especially on it had to be a certain channel, but they'll cut out the World Trade Center scene, and then they also cut out the Donald Trump scene, which that's crazy, but And now even like it's not that movie alone, but even like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, the first Santa Claus. If you go and watch it on Disney Plus right now, they have edited a scene out of that movie. So at the beginning, when he gets home and his son Charlie is there and his ex-wife is there, his ex-wife hands him her mother's phone number of where they'll be at. And she hands him the piece of paper with the number on it, and he reads it, and he says, 1-800-SPANK-ME. I know that number. That scene has been cut from the Disney Plus version of the film. So if you want the entire film in its entirety, I think it's just that scene. It's just that one. But, yeah, that's been cut out of there. I think they did fix the scene that they cut out, or that they altered in Toy Story 2, though. I saw it once or twice. There's a scene in Toy Story 2 where Buzz Lightyear's talking about going after Woody, and they're all tired from walking so much, and he's like, "You think Woody gave up on us? No, he didn't. We cannot give up on him." And then the scene shows Buzz Lightyear talking, and then so like it fades into the American flag behind Buzz, and then he's like, "Well, let's move out," and then it cross dissolves over from the American flag in color behind Buzz to the American flag on the black and white TV screen, and it's like, that concludes our broadcast day. And then Woody and Jesse and them are sitting there, have been watching the TV in Al's apartment. So they changed that from the American flag, they changed that to like a globe of the earth with fireworks behind it. And I think it may still be that way in other countries, but I think that's why they did it. But for some reason, they adapted that to be the only maybe copy of Toy Story 2. I think they fixed it though. I think now when you watch it here in America, it's back to the original with the American flag and stuff now. Oh yeah, Disney's gonna change stuff up. You know they will. Yeah, they like to really they really like to do stuff. Look at how bad that movie that they made from a animated classic. You don't even hear about it anymore. They don't even want to talk about it anymore. It did so bad. It did so bad at the box office. It did so bad. Even the post, like, nobody watches it. Nobody streams it. Nobody downloads it. Nobody goes out and, they haven't bought the DVD or the Blu-ray, or if it exists. I'm pretty sure it probably does. But yeah, they do not talk about it. It was a very, very serious deal. It's kind of like Voldemort. We dare not speak its name. But interesting fact, there's another Disney movie that they have come out and said that they will never bring back out or release anywhere. Not on DVD, not on VHS, not on stream, not on digital download, nothing. There is one movie. It's a very popular movie. One of the songs was extremely popular with Disney back in the day, back in the 90s. But they said that they will never bring that movie back out. Can you guys name which movie? They actually just changed the ride that it was based on at Disney World. They just changed it. They completely changed the theme of the ride, the name of the ride, everything. You guys know which movie I'm talking about? Good morning, Stephen. No, wasn't Pocahontas. Although that one could be on the chopping block. I haven't heard anything, but that's kind of a big one. Nope, not Pocahontas. No, it wasn't Dumbo. Although that one has been talked about being on the chopping block. They might get rid of that one in the future. No, not Bambi. Not Bambi. I don't see them getting rid of Bambi. I'll give you a hint. I'll sing a little bit of the song that's in the movie. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine coming my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. You guys remember, that used to be like the theme song for Disney. All through the 80s and 90s, a lot of the commercials would have that song as the background music for the commercial. Especially for like Walt Disney World. Even if it didn't have the lyrics, I mean, they would be playing that song instrumentally. So, do you guys know? Anybody know what movie that's attached to? So that song is from the movie, yep, Song of the South. I'll take SOS. Song of the South is the movie that's from, and the reason why they have pretty much banned the movie is because it depicts some scenes of like slavery back in the South. Of course, it's the movie's, the synopsis, the plot of the movie is from that era. So that's why they have basically locked that movie away and do not plan on like bringing it back out at all, ever. Yeah, Splash Mountain was the ride. So Splash Mountain, everybody remembers Splash Mountain, especially if you ever went to Disney World. That's why they got rid of Splash Mountain. They renovated the ride, and now it's called, oh, what's that girl's name? The from Princess and the Frog, Tatiana. I can never say her name. It's called Tiana's Bayou or Tatiana's Bayou. It's based on the Princess and the Frog. So, but yeah, that's why they pretty much got rid of Splash Mountain. It was based on Brer Rabbit, which was a character from that movie. So they're no more Splash Mountain. They're literally trying to erase a lot of stuff from Disney history. I mean, when you look at what they just did recently, like at Walt Disney World, they got rid of the riverboat. They got rid of Tom Sawyer Island. All of that has been shut down. The Rivers of America that had the riverboat on it, shut down. They're completely redoing that entire area. They're going to put in a new Cars attraction there. So there's going to be 2 Cars rides. It's going to be like a Cars Land, like a Radiator Springs type thing. It's called something else. It's not. I think there's a Radiator Springs out in California. But in Florida, they're going to do another one, and yeah, I can't remember the name of the what it's called. But there's going to be 2 car attractions there. They redid Country Bears. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of stuff that they've gotten rid of. Over at the studios, they've gotten rid of Muppet Vision 3D. They closed a lot of stuff down over there. I remember at Epcot they got rid of Captain EO. I want to say one thing that was open there was, I want to say it was Worlds of Wonder, where they had this pathway that had multicolored neon that you could walk through. All of that has been repurposed now. It's still there. I'm assuming the walkway's still there. But that's now part of when you go up to that upper... It's like in a giant glass pyramid building. When you go up to that upper part, the only way you can get up there is if you're part of the vacation club. So only exclusives get to go up there, I guess, now. Spaceship Earth is still open, though. You can still ride Spaceship Earth. You can go up inside it, and they renovated it, but it's still there. River Country, they shut that down. They're building a new resort area there now. They completely closed Discovery Island. That's been a mystery for a while. You know, Discovery Island, that was the island out in the middle of the lake there. You have 1,000 millisecond ping? Wow. That's pretty bad. I think you're having internet issues there, Tomcat. I probably sound like a robot to you. I probably sound like... Yeah, well... Great arcade. Playing some more. Later. Right back. Plain view. I get a snack. Eat some popcorn. That's probably what I sound like to you. And he probably caught half of that if his ping is that bad. So even the bad part that I was simulating would probably sounded bad. You're just 13 seconds behind? Oh. So you're delayed a little bit. Okay. Hang on. I gotta pull my phone up. I gotta wait for it. Stand by. This, I'm showing my age here too, because they used to actually have this back in the day. You could call this and actually get the time. Okay. At the tone, the time will be 9:42 a.m. Beep. So Tomcat's going to hear that 15 seconds from now. At the tone, the time will be 9:43 a.m. I think they shut that down. I think I saw a news article or a news story on TV where they still had that, and then they did a story on it because they were shutting it down. Or maybe they still have somewhere. I know a lot of banks still have that, but there was like a national one that you could call, and I think they still have it for the ham radio operators though. The ham radio operators, there's a frequency you can tune to, and every minute or I'm assuming it's every minute or so, probably maybe every few minutes, it gives you the universal time. So it's not set on like a time zone. It's like the standard universal time or something, which you'd have to calculate it in your head. So how them beans going over there, Fuzzy? Oh, he's just about done. Yeah. he's getting it. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, turkey. We need to do a farm sim song to that song. Going good. Good deal. We need to do a farm sim song to that song. Take all the crop types that we got in here. Just go down the list. We got beans, greens, barley, and wheat, canola, and oats, and corn, and sunflowers, and soybeans. We got taters and rice and long grain rice, and sugar beets and sugar cane, and cotton, you name it. Sugar gum, sorghum. I said sugar gum. Sorghum, grapes, olives. And now we got red beans, carrots, parsnips, and green beans, and peas, and spinach, and grass, and that old seed radish, and here we got alfalfa, but you know. I had that as my ringtone, and I had a patient on the table, and I was getting ready to line everything up and position them on the table, and that was my ringtone, and that went off. So the lady starts singing the song. I've got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, and lamb, and turkey. And patient just looks at me, just with the stare of, really, bro? So yeah, I didn't have that. I don't have a ringtone anymore. Now my phone is pretty much on silent, pretty much on like vibrate. My text tone was pizza pizza from Little Caesars. So yeah. I've never even heard of that one, Big L. Never heard that one. I don't think I've heard it. Maybe I've heard it and I just don't recognize the title. There's a lot of songs that, I'll hear them and then I'll, like, be like, checking the Shazam on the phone to see what the song is. Because I'll be like, I know this song, but I don't know the song. I don't know what the title is. Alright, after I offload this guy, I am going to turn this thing around. And then he's probably going to stop, but Fuzzy, when you get done, you'll be coming over this way. You might hit him with your cart. Or I can hit it when I get back. It won't take me long. I'm going to take my first break here and say aloha to YouTube real quick. Alright. So, YouTube, you guys, thanks for watching. Catch us in what will be the last episode, I guess, probably for you guys. Maybe the last episode. There might be one or two more. We'll see. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Always remember, you reap what you sow. It's Matt from the Grain Arcade. We'll see you later, YouTube.